11warriors.com web report. Beau, James, Dan. It's about expectations. In October, you picked to finish 10th, 11th in the Big Ten, and all of a sudden the season's going great, and you go, God, this is the best time ever. Let's go win a national championship. And then you go, oh, well, we're not really deep, and our margin for error is pretty small, and we don't have a ton of three-point shooters. Then you get behind at Penn State and Michigan, and what happened happened. Now you're 13-3, and we all would have taken this in October. But Chris Holtmann's got to reconfigure his team a little bit. This week with Rutgers and Indiana, the Big Ten tournament, and then a month and a half off before the NCAA tournament. He's got to get this thing, because it is kind of trending in the wrong direction the last week or so, James.
Yeah, what you have to, and it's a lot of on-the-court stuff. It's, teams are pressuring the heck out of C.J. Jackson, Andrew Dockich, and they're forcing them to make plays off the dribble, which neither of them are true Big Ten point guards, so they're having a hard time doing that. I think what you're going to see in these next couple of games is Jae'Sean Tate's going to run a lot more of the point, kind of like we saw early in December when they kind of made that switch. I think we're going to go back to that. I think you're going to see him play a little bit smaller. We've seen Kyle Young play a lot more minutes. I think you're going to see him continue to do that, so they're more versatile defensively. They can switch the on-ball screens, and I think it is. This is where Chris Holtmann earns his money, is down this stretch, making the adjustments, and get this team trending back in the right direction as they go into tournament time.
Dan, however this week goes, it's Rutgers tonight and then at Indiana. However this week goes and whatever happened last week, I think about Jae'Sean Tate playing his last game at Ohio State. Central Ohio kid. We've known him forever. This is a kid whose effort was not indicative of the teams he played on for much of his career, where there were a lot of kids who frankly half-assed it a lot. I mean, we know who they were and what they did. Jae'Sean always gave complete effort. It was always seemed like he was mismatched on those teams, like he shouldn't have been on those teams. It didn't fit his heart or his style of play. Regardless of what happens this week, he has resurrected a legacy here. And now, whatever happens over the next month of the season, can walk out of here with head held high and say, that's who I am. And I couldn't be more happier for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's been the heart and soul of his team, just in terms of his effort, like you talked about, how hard he plays night in and night out. And Chris Holtmann certainly appreciates that. I mean, he knows everything that he's been able to accomplish there in his first year. It was not possible without Keita Bates-Diop, and it was not possible without Jae'Sean Tate. Keita Bates-Diop, of course, likely a Big Ten Player of the Year, has been great all season, but Jae'Sean just as well with the leadership he provides and versatility he provides. I mean, James was just talking about it. This is a guy, he'll play everywhere from a point guard to a four, and they use him where they need him, and they really have needed him this year. So that's certainly a guy who deserves to be recognized here on senior night and appreciated for everything that he's done in his Ohio State career.
Last chance you'll get to say Keita Bates-Diop. I was, I mean, he's going to go pro. I was at the senior day for Evan Turner. I think it was against Illinois. And there were thousands of empty seats. It appears that this fan base will show up. It's Rutgers, I get it, but that they'll show up and give these kids a proper send-off.
I think so, and this is a group that deserves it maybe more than any other senior class we've seen in recent memory at Ohio State. What they've been able to do in this season, where expectations were, like you mentioned, 11th, 12th, 13th in the Big Ten, and to put yourself right there at the top of the league and competing still for a Big Ten championship, it's really unbelievable, and they've all played their role. Obviously, Keita Bates-Diop, probably Big Ten Player of the Year. Jae'Sean Tate, the emotional leader of this team for the better part of 4 years, and even Andrew Dockich coming in and adding depth at the point guard position, having critical moments, like we saw the shot against Michigan State and his big points against, I think it was Maryland. So this is a group that deserves it. They deserve the proper send-off, and I think when you play Rutgers, you're probably going to get that.
Yeah, you probably are going to get that. He's James, he's Dan, I'm Beau. That was 11warriors.com web report.